from Warsenal Studio B in Chandler, Arizona, this is MayaCast. Welcome to another edition of MayaCast. I'm your host, Tom Shadle.
I'm your host, Kip Parcell.
And this is episode 146 for Friday, August 25th, 2017, GenCon Infinity. Did you miss us?
I missed you.
We were gone last week, and there was no show, and we got the memes and the people talking, and like, you got any more than MayaCast episodes? But we're back now, back from GenCon, feeling fine. No con crud for this guy. Did you get any?
No, I was actually not there.
So coming up on today's show, we're going to talk about, I'm going to talk about being at GenCon. We'll go through some of the stuff from the seminar. And so if you've watched the online seminar, we're going to talk about that stuff. If you have not watched the online seminar, you will probably learn new things. So that's cool. And then if we have time, we will get to some listener emails. And we'll definitely try to get through a few more MayaCast libations so we can end this interminable contest that we've had going on forever. In fact, we're trying one right now. It's called Remember the Main. Nope. It's based on a drink called Remember the Main. It's called Remember the Ariadne. And it's basically if a Sazerac and a Manhattan had a little baby, and so
it turns into a dog soldier.
Only if you bite a pregnant Sazerac.
That's true.
So you rinse out your glass with absinthe, and then in a separate glass with ice, you mix your brandy and your sweet vermouth and your bitters and your Luxardo cherry liqueur. And so we're going to be sipping on that for the first part of the show. But first, I want to let you all know that there's a... Kip just tried his. That's his,
It's strong.
What does it taste like, though?
Like I have a flu.
Oh, because it tastes a little bit like Robitussin?
It tastes like Robitussin.
It tastes a lot like Robitussin.
It does. It's like I'm in high school again, and we're like, hey, have you ever drink a half bottle of Robitussin?
And garnished.
It's called Robo-frying.
Garnished with Luxardo cherries. Nothing but the finest in maraschinos here. None of those neon red nonsense. Oh, yeah, drink it slow, Kip.
That was a slow drink.
All liquor. So I wanted to let you guys know that there's a brand new podcast out there in the interwebs. This one comes to you from down under. It's called White Noise. White Noise with Ben and Marty.
Nice.
And White Noise, an Infinity the Game podcast. You can find it on iTunes. You can search facebook.com/Ben and Marty to find it. And I haven't had a chance yet to listen to it myself. They're 3 episodes deep.
Nice.
So, give it a listen. And Ben's an old client of mine.
Oh, really?
From the miniature painting days. So, he's got a lot of nicely painted Toha.
I was going to say the Toha guy. Yeah.
And so I'm excited to give those guys a listen and see what they're talking about with Infinity Down Under.
And thanks for the kind words, guys, because I read that email at work, and it was like a really uplifting part of the day when they had emailed in. So I'm excited for them to hear what they do.
Also wanted to talk about Gamers Without Borders. You might remember last year's Rumble on... Last year's Rumble on Route 66, we brought Oren Dotan in from Israel, right? Mm-hmm. Last time we talked about this, we royally screwed up his country. And and so Dan Barnaby asked for donations to cover his plane ticket, and they got his plane ticket and brought him in. This year, the guest of honor that they wanted to raise money for was none other than Ian Wood, IJW, the wargaming trader, and they raised enough money for his plane ticket within the hour.
Are you serious?
It seemed like. So, super, super fast. What
That's
a great
awesome.
community. So, IJW, Ian Wood will be coming out for Rumble on Route 66 next year. So that's pretty exciting. I got to meet him last year at the Interplanetario. And yeah, he's like imagine if John Oliver played Infinity. Yeah.
No, he's a very, very cool guy. I had the pleasure of meeting him in good old London, probably about 3 years back, at Salute. He stopped by. We had a nice little conversation.
Right?
Really,
Infinity
really cool
playing John Oliver,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I wanted to talk about those things, and we have new events.
From around the world.
Or I guess I should say new event.
From around the region that it's from.
Yeah. This one's going to be from the region of Poland.
Oh, nice.
So, Kip.
Oh, now I get to read it. Sweet.
While Kip, I'll give Kip a second to skim it for any particularly difficult words.
We'll just go
while he's
right
doing
into
that,
it.
I just want to remind everybody that the rest of the events that have been submitted that we've already announced can be found in the show notes. And so check them out, and perhaps you can find an event near you or one that you want to travel to. If you're like, hey, I want to go to Poland, here's an event for you.
This is going to be awesome. So, yes, this announcement is from Nazaroth, and it says, fellow Infinity gamers, I would like to invite the mightiest amongst you to the Polish Championship 2017. What is the Polish Championship event? You are asking yourself right now. This event will take place between the 9th and 10th of September, and it's going to be in close vicinity of Katowice City. That's probably not how you say it, because I am thinking of it in a Latin Spanish term. But yeah, K-A-T, you'll get it, yeah. So the entry is about 20 to 25 euros, and that's going to include your accommodations. For those of you who would like to arrive earlier, there will be options to renting rooms, because apparently the 2025 has your room for the night. The rules are you're going to have two valid 300-point lists, no spec ops. They will be playing Safe Area and Tennefield, highly classified, and looting and sabotaging from Strike Zone Wotan. That's awesome. And then Comm Center. Yay! It said, Poland will be beautiful this time of year. Our alcohol is good and cheap. Girls are pretty. Our tournaments are something you won't forget. Come and see for yourselves with a winky face. They'll have more information. We will have the link up in the show notes, because me reading it will just make your ears bleed. But I absolutely love that they said alcohol is cheap and girls are pretty. So take me down to the Paradise City, where the booze is cheap and the girls are pretty. I'm gonna go to Poland. Yeah, I'm gonna go
with Katowice.
Katowice. Okay, that works.
Katowice.
I don't.
So to all of our Polish gamers that might want to attend the championships, Nostrovia.
You know what that probably says? I'm not even gonna attempt it, because what was that guy's name that I couldn't even pronounce?
Wojtek.
This is probably like Kromtech.
Which part are you looking at here?
I don't know.
It just says Nazaroth.
No, not his name. The name of the city. Because
Katowice.
Okay.
Katowice.
All right. I'm gonna trust you.
I asked Jan and Wojtek how you'd pronounce it.
Son of a.
So.
Katowice.
Katowice. I thought it was going to be Katowice.
Yeah.
And they said no.
Italian.
And this is a direct quote. There's a buttload of che in our language, but this one's actually tse.
Say. Nice.
T-Z-E. So I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Anyway.
Nice.
Katowice. Poland. Go.
Sweet.
Go to Poland.
Take me down to the Katowice, where the
city
booze is cheap and the girls are pretty.
Oh, won't you please take me home?
Vodka. Go ahead. Best vodka I've ever had is from Poland, and it was brown. It wasn't even clear.
What?
Yeah, it's crazy. So good.
Was it made in a prison?
I don't know. It was.
Do they use their rusty steel bed frame as like a distillery?
I don't know what it was made out, like where it was from, because it was in Polish, so I couldn't read it. And a friend of mine had it at a Thanksgiving Day. It was like one of those work things where it's like, hey, if you don't have family in town, come to it. So a bunch of us went to it because none of us had family in town, and he asked me to mix him a drink with it, and I was like, do you mind if I like taste it? So I took half a shot, and I said, hide it, because it's the best vodka I've ever had in my life. I was like, and I won't even drink it. I was like, your friend brought that as a gift. I will mix drinks for you all night, but I don't want you to share it with anybody. Savor every drop of that. It was the best thing I've ever had. Absolutely amazing.
So Poland adjacent is Russia, where our friend Dimitri is from.
Yeah.
And Dimitri was out to dinner with a large group of us on the final night of after GenCon was all over and put to bed. It was Sunday night. He brought his lovely wife with him this time.
No way. I am pissed that I missed that then.
They had some difficulties getting in, but once they got here, lovely time. Anyway, the night got weird once Dimitri started telling jokes from Russia.
That's all you gotta say. Like, what?
And so he was talking about vodka and how you drink vodka, you need, especially like the cheap vodka that students would get, you would need a what we would call a chaser.
Okay, yeah.
Right? And so we would do a shot and then have a beer as a chaser. Right?
I just did that
shot
with
beer.
Yeah,
you did.
I'm doing that with our Robitussin. Exactly.
It's not the Robitussin, it's the Remember the Ariadne.
The Remember the...
Whenever you get a sore throat, remember the Ariadne.
Exactly. I was just going to say that.
So, so there's a word for it in Russian, and we came to the conclusion that the closest equivalent would be chaser.
Okay.
It's not a literal translation, but there were a bunch of K's in it, and I don't know. And katsatsat.
It's funny because usually you take a chaser because something's like doesn't hit your taste buds, and you were saying it was
It hits your taste buds all the time.
Yeah.
So so it's this Russian word, and we figured out that it means something that you put something you take after you do the shot of whiskey to get the unpleasantness.
The ka.
Right. So we would do like beer. They don't do liquids. They would, and this was another point where we're trying to come to the same. So they would use a salted pickle. I mean, a salted cucumber. Sorry.
Okay, I was like, what the freak?
So,
oh my gosh.
So a salted cucumber they would use as a chaser, and that was in part of one of his jokes where the guy just like pulls it out of his pocket. So apparently to our understanding, because we just don't have salted cucumbers.
No.
Like, so you mean like a pickle?
That makes sense though, because
but maybe they do salt cured cucumbers instead of vinegar cured or whatever.
But that cleans your palate.
Salted pickle.
Well. That makes sense.
And apparently, college age Russians keep them in their pocket for when they drink their cheap vodka.
Not to like impress anybody. Here's my salted
which
pickle.
I'm sure they waited in line 3 weeks to get. Long lines. Anyway, so that was part of the weird. And so the salted pickle worked into one of the jokes. Another part of that same joke was like picking up a dog and sniffing it. What? As a chaser. Instead of the salted pickle. Instead of, getting a new taste, you get a new smell. I'm not sure what's happening over there. I just know that apparently our countries are really good friends now again. Or not.
Oh, man. I don't know. Like, all I can think about is when you said that, it's like, we take a shot, and I picked up vino, and you picked up Thor, just give it a sniff on the belly.
Well, right, but then if you rotate the dog 90 degrees...
That's not good.
Then you really get the taste out of your mouth.
No.
So are you a pickle person or a dog person?
Oh, that's hilarious. And then I just envision them licking you like on the side of the face as you're sniffing them. Oh.
Dimitri's going to have to write in and tell us what that word is in Russian that we determined meant chaser. Like a dog or a salted cucumber that you just have in your pocket.
I have tears in my eyes right now.
And then there was another one with training pets it involved a hedgehog and fingers, and it was super weird. So, yeah, Dmitry Bogdanov, creator of amazing works of Infinity art that are beautiful and, yet freak. Absolute freak. I do have a question for you, though, Kip.
Yeah.
In Hak Islam, they're the medium infantry, MSV2 just got new sculpts, machine gunners got bare arms. How do you say that?
John Zaban?
Nope.
Damn it. How do you
That was
say
for
it?
Dmitry.
John
John Bazan.
Bazan. That's what I said.
No, you said John Zaban.
No, I said John Zaban.
No, sure didn't. He wrote
I said John Zaban.
He wrote in to talk about the pronunciation of that.
Wait, how did you say it?
John Bazan.
That's what I said. I said John Zaban.
Oh my god. And then he had issue with my pronunciation of Svalheima.
That's what it is. It's Svalheima.
Or Svalheima. I think he wants me to put a real...
I don't want to slobber her
a real emphasis on the H part.
Yeah, exactly.
Svalar. Beat. Haima. I think, by the way he typed it, I think that's how he wants me to say it.
Swallerheima. That's what I'm going to start calling him.
Because he says that I say Svalheima, which I might.
Could
be the accent, but you're...
Freaking night. It gets worse.
So you're a fan of the baby, the Absinthe Manhattan?
No, not at all. Well, who sent this in?
Oh, I destroyed the paper while trying to make it.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can still read it. It's drying out nicely. Oh, right, Arizona.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Mikhail Neville.
Mm-hmm. I want to thank you.
Could be Mikhail.
Mikhail.
It could just be Michael.
I think it's Michael. Okay.
Mikhail.
Michael, whatever.
Oh, and then he signs off as Mick. Or
Mick.
Mike. Could be Mike.
I'm going to say Mick.
Could be Meek.
I want to thank you for your submission. I have a hard time drinking anything that tastes like licorice because of too much Jägermeister, or as my friend started calling it, Tagermifter.
It's just a splash in the glass, though, man.
Yeah, but the flavor just crushes my soul. It's not that it's a bad drink. I don't want him to think that I'm like dogging on his dog warrior over here. But
we are down to a bunch of creamy ones, Kip. You're in trouble.
I'm screwed. But yeah, it's more so of the aftertaste of the absinthe that's killing me.
Yeah, they're all either cream or coffee. So do you want jitters or do you want stomach cramps?
Let's go jitters, and I'll have the diarrhea later.
You just said diarrhea on our air. Thanks, Kip. Yep.
That's not a bad word.
Classing up the podcast.
That's right. Stay classy, San Diego.
One hedgehog at a time.
Yeah.
Enough. Why don't we get out of this nightmare scenario and start talking about GenCon?
It was not an accident. It's a human imposter in the... Don't even say again. Say again. Is Boston incursion imminent? Please confirm.
Incoming data from Bostria.
Infinity Intel. So I went to GenCon last week for work, and it was fun.
Was it fun? I missed it. I was very upset. It's the first time I missed in 5 years.
It was bananas. So this is the first time that they've sold out all tickets for all days.
Nice.
So GenCon was totally sold out.
That's awesome.
So you had 60,000 attendees, and then however many vendors, right? So thousands there. Like 80,000 nerds.
Had to have been more, because didn't they just do like the Saturdays, right? And
it was
Sundays.
super crowded, always. Like usually, like Friday, you can at least leave the hall in an expedient manner. No, even Friday was bananas.
It's like rush hour, 24/7.
Yeah, super crowded. And then, typical Gen Con stuff, people wearing backpacks that don't think about their backpacks when they make abrupt turns. Cell phones are a hazard because people are on them, not watching where they're going. And people just, stop in the middle of traffic.
Oh, that's my flipping
or
favorite.
groups of people will stop and have conversations, and they will screw up hundreds of people in all four directions when they stop right at a crossroads.
I was just going to say, do you stop in the middle of an intersection? This
Yeah.
is like driving. Pay a freaking attention.
So super crowded. Working Corvus Belli and Warsenal at the Infinity Warsenal booth. And so got in Tuesday and got my rooms. It was supposed to already be switched, but they didn't switch it. Got my room switched from a king to 2 queens. Oh. And, I got to the hotel like close to 6 o'clock. And then the people that got in after me around 7 o'clock, no 2 queens left, got stuck with kings.
Oh, that's a fun weekend.
I just got in there.
That's
under the wire.
Oh, that
and
sucks.
so I was assigned to room with Dexter. And so Dexter and I blissfully each had our own bed. Thank God.
I was just going to say, could you imagine?
And, but yeah, so got in Tuesday night. Wednesday was set up. And, we all met up for breakfast, and then we all went over and started setting up the booth.
How long did it take you to set up Corvus's booth?
Longer than it should have.
Okay.
Yeah.
1 day or 2 days?
No, all day Wednesday.
Okay.
But, we'd set everything up. And, there's these giant wooden crates that form the basis for all the product. And, they're, and we move it around, and then would say, I think we should have this here and this here. And we move it around again. And so we moved everything around 9 times before we could start actually stocking product on stuff. So it took a little longer than it should have. But hey, whatever. What else are you going to do on Wednesday?
Yeah.
And so we set up the booth. And then Thursday, it's time for GenCon. And so, everybody goes to their primary fandom, right? Like the Privateer Press guys go to the Privateer Press booth, line up to get whatever's exclusive or limited. Same thing with Weird or Fantasy Flight Games or whatever it happens to be, right?
Yeah, that 9 o'clock VIG rush.
So, 9 o'clock's not so bad because it's just VIGs. But 10 o'clock when they open it to Gen Pop, everybody comes storming in, and so the line begins. And I was on line control. I was back of the line guy.
Nice.
Except we didn't have one of those signs like Fantasy Flight that says the line ends here. So literally with every person in line, are you the back of the line? I am the back of the line, but you're the back of the line now. Literally, I did that 1,000 times. But it was the longest line we've ever had for CB at a GenCon. It was about 2.5 hours.
Oh, that is awesome to hear.
It almost wrapped all the way around the booth, but not quite.
That's awesome to hear, though. I like
so
that.
it came stretched out the middle, and then around half a side, all the way up one side, all the way down another side, and then around the corner. And it was 2.5 hours before the initial rush line was down. I think the longest one we've had prior to that was an hour and a half. So sold out of Beyond Ice Storm, and then quickly after that sold out of Beyond Red Veil, or vice versa. I don't remember.
Was that day one?
I don't remember which one went first. I think whichever one went first went on day one. Day two, we had 8 left of the other one.
Oh my gosh.
So
that's cool.
memory and GenCon and something like that.
Did the
Close
Spec
to it.
Ops sell out at all?
No, I think there were 20 or 30 Spec Ops left at the end of the show.
That's still good.
And there were plenty of Mushashis left. But once the Beyond sold out, we had to change the deal, right? Because the bundle was get Beyond, get the other Beyond, get the Spec Ops, and then you get a free Mushashi. So once they sold out, we changed it to get either of the 2-player starters, Red Veil or Ice Storm, and the Spec Ops, and then you get Mushashi for free. And so, but yeah, a lot of I think a lot of people either got Ice Storm or Red Veil, rather than the bundle, because they play Pano or they play right.
I was just gonna say
they don't play
unless you're
4
a-
factions
unless you're a hardcore collector,
for sure.
Yeah, because even
Super fan.
yeah, even my Ice Storm, I kept the Nomads because I would play vanilla nomads over vanilla Pano. And I gave the Pano to Donnie Darkside when he started out, because I was like, I don't use these. I've known you forever. I'm not stingy. Here's a whole starter pack for you for free because I know you'll love this game, which he does. But so I wasn't very excited for the Beyond Ice Storm, but Beyond Red Veil, I was like texting you, hey, don't forget. Hey, and thank you for being so generous.
Yeah, well, by the time you text me the first time, they were already sold out.
Yeah, I know.
So, but because I worked the booth, I got a bundle that had everything, so you got one anyway.
Tom, being the generous friend he is, gave me
So, yeah, it was a pretty great start. Mm-hmm. It's a shame we sold out of the Beyonds, because, over the next few days, you definitely have people coming saying, for a friend, I'm looking for a Beyond Red Veil. Do you know what that is? Yes, unfortunately, we're all sold out. But yeah, I think it was pretty successful. The new Jiguan terrain from Warsenal, the Spider District.
Holy crap! Are you kidding me right now? By the way, that's because I didn't see that until our friend chat, and I'm sorry for interrupting Tom, but holy crap! Amazing. That stuff, I want it all. I want it all.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it yet, make sure to get to Warsenal.
Oh my goodness gracious!
WARSEN.AL, Warsenal, to check out the new Jiguan terrain, Jiguan, the Spider District. It's very Blade Runner. Mm-hmm. The office building, if it wasn't painted red, if it was painted gray, you'd immediately recognize the apartments in Sirius Station from The Expanse. The Jiguan Tower is this massively tall building you put in the center to block up all kinds of line of fire real easily. Such a great set. It's sort of quintessential Infinity to me. Mm-hmm. And then there's ads for different Infinity companies. There's a giant wall ad for Aristea for one, but then there's all the different Infinity companies have these ads, and all of those ads are pre-printed on the acrylic.
Oh, it's so good.
So
that's their new thing that they have, right? Yeah, it's so
yeah, UV printed. So
I want that.
They're not stickers that you stick on or anything cheap like that. It's UV printed onto the clear acrylic so that when you insert it into your build process, it looks great, just like you can see from the pictures. But definitely go check it out. Those were super popular. Mm-hmm. I think the biggest compliment of the weekend was a guy comes over and he's wearing an exhibitor badge and he's wearing like a dust, like Dust Tactics, right? He's wearing a dust thing and he's like, the people at my booth said I had to come over and check it out, and he's speaking in an accent that I'm not going to try and mimic, and he's like, so he's looking at the new Jiguan terrain, and he's like, wow, what an incredible design. The paint jobs are amazing. It looks beautiful. I'm very impressed. And so I said, because I know who this guy is, so I say to the guy, the designer and the painter is right here, and Jay from Warsenal. Mm-hmm. I'm like, hey, Jay, he's very complimentary of your building. So Jay talked to him for a while. Clearly didn't know who he was. Even though they introduced themselves like, hi, I'm Jay. Hi, I'm Paulo. And they had their conversation, and Paulo walks away, and I said, Jay, that's Paulo Parente.
Yeah.
Like Dust, the comic books and the all that weird War II stuff with the mecha tanks. He's the artist behind all of that. Mm-hmm. He's the creator of all that. And Jay goes, "What? Are you kidding? Oh my God, I love it!" So he chased him down to be like, "By the way, I love your work too."
Oh, that's funny. So
that was a pretty great compliment for Jay there, and they were super popular, and it was really cool. Anyway, so yeah, booth. I was in the booth from open to close every day. I did not walk around the vendor hall
ever.
Nope. I would go take like 10-minute breaks to get water and go to the bathroom. Mm-hmm. And but that's it. And one day, I think it was Thursday or Friday, I did leave for half an hour and I got a sandwich.
Dang.
And I met this awesome dude from Germany who works for Spiel.
Okay.
I guess he's in charge of or works for the people in charge of the awards there.
Oh, okay.
So they had a booth, and he was working the booth, and we all there were like 3 of us that were all bald with beards that were eating alone, but shared like a round stand-up table, no chairs. Wolf that down before going back to the booth.
That's a fun one, by the way. Is Spiel.
Whatever their awards are for the gaming awards.
Yeah, because that would have been a cool one to like go and like walk around because all I did was vendor. But I was next to Freebooters Fate, so every time I worked there, it was awesome because
I've got some of that I need to eBay.
Werner was there and he shared his champagne with us every morning. That's how we started our day. Yeah, he comes over. You guys, we got to blah blah blah. Because I knew when they were setting up with the pirates. I was like, tell me your Freebooters Fate. And he's like, you play in the U.S.? How do you know about us? But it was cool. So Spiel's cool. It's a different thing, though, man. Like, it's not like a GenCon. There's not, like, a lot going on downtown. Probably not, like, a destination spot. If you've never been to Germany, it'd be really fun.
Essen.
But Essen is, like, the business district, so there's not, like, a nightlife. Like, stuff closed down pretty early. I decided to take a walk home that was like 10 miles. That was a little sketchy. Like, because I don't know if I'm in a bad part or a good part.
How many Germans does it take to screw in a light bulb?
9. I don't know. That's my favorite number. How many?
1.
Okay.
Because we are efficient and without humor.
Okay. Perfect.
Anyway, so met this cool, super nice German guy while I ate that sandwich. But yeah, I was in the booth, open and close every day. Thursday and Friday, I mostly ran while I did line duty and like anti-shrink duty. Anti-shrink, like trying to watch out for people stealing stuff.
Anti-shrink. I was like, I can't even. Sorry, I bit that cherry. I'm done.
You didn't like the cherry?
It's like. It's soaked up.
Those
something.
are the best cherries on the planet, man.
Oh, I love the cherries, but it soaked up some. Do you see my face when I bit into it?
Yeah, but you are weak of constitution.
Apparently.
So yeah, did line duty and then ran register a lot of Thursday and Friday, but Saturday from 10 a.m. all the way up until 6, I ran demos nonstop.
No break.
I did have a little break. I know I got out. I think I had 2 breaks that day, 2 little 10-minuters.
Damn. Tom.
But yeah, I went solid that day. And at about 2 o'clock, so I tried to schedule the demo booth people to not work more than 4 hours in a row. And about 2 o'clock, I was like, I really appreciate that I did that because that's enough talking in a row. At once, because it's so much talking and talking over the crowds and talking over the announcements and
like being on.
But
I like saying like being on.
Yep,
like,
up and enthusiastic. And
it's a lot.
So
it's a lot of effort.
Gave a ton of demos that Saturday. The upside is Saturday went by in a flash.
Yeah,
it's over before you knew it. And then of course Sunday is sort of like the doldrums, where it's like.
Should there even be a Sunday?
Everybody's kind of done. They're trying to like find out where they're going to spend their last $100. And I mean, people are still taking demos and stuff, but it was not like the other 3 days. Half the people, are already, they're leaving early so they can make their flights and get home before they work on Monday.
That's the thing is like when you stay there till Monday at GenCon, even the city shuts down early. Like it's the most depressing day. Like, honestly, Sunday is the most depressing day, especially when you work, because you're like, I'm finally done. I want to go out and relax, but then the city's done, so they quit on you.
A lot of places do, yeah. Like the one year, we were so excited. We were finally done working. The booth was packed up. And we're like, we haven't been able to get into the RAM this whole time, so because of the crowds, and so it's apparently the thing to do. So let's go to the RAM and try it out. And we get there, and it's like 6:30 at night, 7 o'clock at night on Sunday, and there's a sign in the window that says, "I'm sorry, the RAM is closed. We worked extra hard during GenCon, so we're giving our servers the night off." Blah blah blah. Like
you're like, "F you, dude."
Like they boarded it up at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, it's like we've been working it too. Like that's the thing is like when you work that hard, like Sunday's the most depressing. Unless you go to St. Elmo's.
Yeah, St.
Then
Elmo's is
it's
still
nice.
open.
Yeah, it's nice.
But yeah, so that was work, and the booth was pretty cool. We had 2 demo tables for Infinity that if you've been to Gen Con or to Adepticon, you've seen them before. They're the ones made by Scenery Planet that we're always demoing Infinity on. But this year we had 2 additional demo tables, brand new, first time anyone's seen them. Also, I believe they were also made by Scenery Planet because it's the exact same design, but these were for Aristea.
Oh no way!
And so they ran 2 tables of Aristea demos all weekend long, and the volunteers were awesome at. Like some of them were like, "Hey man," like they were super nervous, right? Because
it's new.
It's new. We haven't we've sort of played around with it with our secret little group but haven't really I don't know if we're doing it right.
Yeah.
And so I'm nervous about it. I don't know if I want to do it. And then within hours, those same people were like, "Oh no, man, I got this. This is awesome. People love it. I'm so excited. It's way easier to teach than I thought. I don't know what I was worried about." So yeah, Aristea demos, 2 tables at a time, full the entire weekend.
Were they 3D? Mm-hmm. So like the spots on the game board, they're supposed to be
the impassable spaces.
Yeah, that I was like, I hope that we have like the ad space.
They're about 3 inches tall.
Did they do ads on them, or were they just like walls?
They're just like walls. They were cool walls, but they were walls.
Warsenal, do your thing.
Oh, Warsenal do a thing.
Yeah, do your thing.
But everything was
That's
3D.
awesome.
Even the like where to put your running order, your initiative order, was like a raised up platform.
Oh, that is so freaking cool.
Yeah, the tables were awesome. And
See, now I'm really bummed I couldn't
they had
go.
2 sets.
I was stoked to freaking demo that.
They had 2 sets of Aristea models cast in metal. That were fully painted up, so that we could run 2 demos at once. And Fernando was very he packed them up into into his bag every night and took them with him. Right, everything else just kind of went into the display case, but those he took with him because after hours, when the hall closed at 6, he had a couple roll-up Aristea mats that he had made, and all the cards and stuff, and those 8 metal 16, because there's 2 tables.
Yeah.
So 16 metal miniatures that they had made. Because they're going to be in plastic, all one piece. But they had metal casts so they could do the demos. Fully painted. So he would take all that after hours and he would go into the gaming area where all the Infinity tournaments were. And Fernando and Bostria and Palanca, who designed the game. And Palanca ran demos like all day Thursday, a lot of the day Friday, and all day Sunday, and I think Saturday was vacation because I don't think I saw
Saturday was holiday.
I don't think I saw Palanca at all on Saturday, but he was busting his hump, running demos for Aristea the whole. And let me tell you, he is a big, lovable teddy bear.
I'm so pissed that I had to miss this year, dude.
David. So yeah, he was kicking ass running these demos. Everybody that took a demo was super excited about Aristea. Even like people were like totally not. Look, I play Infinity. I'm totally not interested in Aristea. And then they played it. And they're like, "Oh my god, that game's super deep."
Yeah, it's
I
awesome.
thought it was going to be silly, and that's
so good.
That's super deep. Like, I really like it, and I can't wait to play it again. So anyway, I've interrupted my own story 3 times. After hours, Fernando with his 2 roll-up mats and the miniatures and the cards and the dice and stuff would go into the game hall where the tournaments were being held, and he would set up 2 games and he would play games. So it's like the owner of the company and the guy who designed the game, the new game Aristea, and of course Bostria. They're all there. They're playing games of Aristea with the common folk. Right.
That's Fair's thing, though, man. Like he is. So I respect him so much. Like he is an in the trenches guy. Love him for that.
Yeah. So and it works with the Spanish physiology. We're like, yeah, we don't eat supper until 9.
Yeah.
So yeah, after doing the hall day, and he was like, doing meetings or whatever he was doing. 6 o'clock rolls around. I'm like, get me out of this hall. get me a beer and a steak or a cheeseburger or a Cobb salad. Something. Put food in my pie hole right now at 6 o'clock, right? No, like, it's too early to eat. So he'd sit there and play games until 8 or 9 o'clock of Aristea, and then they'd go eat, and it was like normal time for them.
That's awesome, though.
So I was disappointed in myself that I didn't like go over there with them and play a game with Polanka, right? Or because I was like, no, I need to eat like right now. I've been eating all day. But yeah, so it was very cool. They were there in and amongst the people doing the thing with the stuff.
Yeah, that's that's super impressive. Absolutely. I'm glad that it was catching on, man, because I'm excited for Aristea. I was really excited to be a part of the demo team. Unfortunately, couldn't do it. I think that it is very... Like I was telling you, I felt like I was in Tron, and they're like, Grid Wars, rah, rah, Grid Wars, like with everybody cheering, Aristea, and you're watching everybody fight on this futuristic plane, and everybody's like kind of an anime type character with their own special skills, but we got to work together as a team. Super cool. So I'm glad that it was really well played out.
Yeah, we could have sold hundreds of them if they were ready now.
Right?
But yeah, so available November 20th. And
dang, that's not bad.
So super fun running the preview demos, running Infinity demos. Like Saturday, I was all Infinity the whole time. Just like on the same table. It was like one after the other. And people would bring like, this person's interested in it might be like Kyle from Warsenal. This guy wants a Infinity demo, and I had just finished the previous one. I'm like, I just need 1 second to find a bottle of water.
Right.
I won't be able to talk long enough. But yeah, so it was super fun meeting a whole bunch of people. A lot of people came up, and as always, we're very appreciative of the podcast. Wondering where your dumbass was.
Yeah, sorry, yes.
And so everybody missed you. But
I missed everybody.
It's always great. Yeah, it's always great to hear all that positive feedback. Met a lot of familiar faces that we see at these events all the time, and met a lot of brand new people that I've never met before. So it was really, really cool. So thanks to I'm going to try and remember them all. But yeah, definitely wanted a heartfelt thanks for the hard work and enthusiasm of our demo team in the booth, which consisted of Mike Byer, Josh Hall, Chad Nicholson, Dexter, Josh Lind, Grant Fetter, and yep, I'm missing one. I knew it was going to happen. And because
can't help you.
There were 7. Didn't even know Dexter was coming, but he was there and apparently was running demos. So we used it. So who did I say now? I said Josh Hall and Josh Lind. I said Mike Byer.
Yep.
I said Chad Nicholson.
Yep.
I said, Shane Everly.
Shane.
Of course. Shane Everly. Also, so yeah, thanks to those guys for busting your humps and being super enthusiastic and warm and welcoming and teaching people how to play Aristea. Even if you weren't sure of yourself, you gave people a taste and got them all excited, and teaching people how to play Infinity and giving away a model and a quick start rules with every demo. And the model, sometimes, yes, it was the like Nazarune engineer.
Oh, okay, I see.
But the other half were Phoenix.
What? You gotta be kidding me.
So you're at the end of your demo, and
Yeah.
they kind of have a grasp of the mechanics because you just went through them all, and you're like,
Yeah.
and this is Phoenix. He shoots out a pie plate
Oh my
that'll hit
gosh.
everybody underneath it, and if they don't pass that armor roll,
They
have to keep rolling armor saves until they pass, taking a wound for each because they're on fire. And people are like, oh my god, that's so cool.
That's insane.
Yeah. So Aristea, they got a flyer and they can sign up because they're going to give out a copy once it's available. They're going to give out a copy of Aristea to anyone who took a.
No way. That's awesome.
Yeah, they're going to raffle off like a copy. So it's like a sign up with your email kind of thing. Anyway, So good time at the booth. Constantly crowded. Slightly boring on Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Because it was but good times. Good times in the booth, right? What I could see from the booth, like I didn't get to walk around GenCon, but what I could see from the booth was Wormwood with their beautiful handcrafted wooden game accessories like dice boxes, and dice rollers and stuff, because they were catty corner, and some, I don't know the company or what the game is, but their big cardboard stand up like lady in like space armor with a gun totally was Natalie Dormer. Had the same jaw and the same hair. And so I got to look at that cardboard stand up a lot. And I could see the corner of the Forge World booth from where we were. And so I got to stare at Warhammer logos a whole bunch, which is exciting.
You know what's funny is you said Natalie Dormer, and I was like, why do I know that name? And then I really...
Oh, come on, Kip.
I Googled it really quick, and I was like, come on! I am an idiot.
So because I didn't get to leave the booth, I didn't spend any money, so that's good.
Oh, that's a good
In fact,
picture of her.
the total, you're about to hear, I spent a total of $32 on stuff.
Okay, that's
in the hall.
That's good.
And
$32.
And here's what I bought.
Ooh, how many ones did you get?
Oh, so you just gave it away. I got 1 and 113.
If you can continue on why we like that.
They're my Tariq dice apparently.
Yeah, exactly.
No, so I got dice. So I have always kind of wanted a set of shiny silver D20s. The problem was they either came in a set of D&D dice where you get all D4, D6, D8, D10, D12, D20, and I only want the D20.
Yeah.
For a reasonable price. Or if you wanted a single D20 in shiny metal silver, they were $30 or $50 a piece.
Goodness.
So to get the 5 I would need for Infinity, I would be spending $150. I was like, no, man.
Nope.
So Professor Willett, who has been on the show before, he on Sundays posts and that's a good thing. It was the boring day because I was able to actually look at my phone for the first time all weekend. Sunday, he posts a picture of these shiny golden dice that he bought, and I know Willett's cheap. So
that's for you, Kayla. That is for you, Kayla.
So I got super excited, and I'm like, "Oh my god, where did you get those? Did they have silver?" And so basically, I got 6 shiny silver.
Oh, please tell me! Oh my.
Hey, so after spilling a beer on top of the computer that we record on,
oh my gosh,
we are back.
Oh my gosh.
And so far, everything seems to be working.
Hey Tom, what episode is this?
146.
So we should have a chalkboard that just now said episodes without an incident 145, and I will go erase it and put it at 0. Like, oh my gosh.
So yeah, I got 6 cool silver dice for $32 instead of $30 each. So that was really cool. And Willett was incapable of describing to me where he got them from. Mm-hmm. And so he was gracious enough to just go there himself and get them for me. And I PayPal'd him. And so didn't even leave the booth to buy the one thing that I bought.
Wait, it was $32 for that?
For all 6.
That's not bad because it's like $150 for
so like
else.
$5 a piece plus tax, I guess.
Hey, they are I'm reaching.
Yeah, that's how we got in
I'd pay-
trouble the last time, was reaching across the table to play with the dice.
Right. I'd pay $5. These are do not roll these on terrain.
Or towards models.
No, they will kill things. Hopefully we'll see. Target number 13 with fatality.
All right, now I need to take them from you.
Damn
Went out to eat with Will Thompson and his wife and their friends and family, and had a great time with those guys. Went to see They Might Be Giants in concert. They did a concert Thursday night.
I just remembered that we were supposed to go do that.
Yep.
And now
totally did
I'm
it.
even more
So we went to see
freaking pissed that I missed.
Went to see They Might Be Giants. They started a little more than half an hour late. And the funny thing is that night at 9:30, Bostria wanted to meet with all of the war corps to tell them super secret stuffs and to give out presents. And so they didn't start till 8:30, 8:35, 8:38, whatever. Who's counting? And then at like 10 after 9, I had to go.
Oh, that's
So I only got to see about half an hour, 35 minutes of They Might Be Giants. But it was a great show, what we saw. And then I was there with Manlapis and Dr. Dactyl Dave.
I'm even more bummed now. I
And
totally
then-
forgot about that.
So we stood up.
Istanbul once against an old.
Yeah, didn't hear that one. But we stood up to go and headed out at the end of a song. Didn't try to leave in the middle of a song. And then Will Thompson was was at the same concert, so he got up and left. So we all went back to Warcore Land, and we met in the MHE painting classes room because the classes were done, but they still had the room, and so we kind of had like a little private area where Bostria could throw some stuff on the wall with a projector, and showed us the new expansion for Aristea.
Nice.
Aristea's not even out yet. And he showed us the first expansion that comes out in maybe February. So that was really cool. And, he thanked everybody for all their hard work. And then he had gift bags. And the gift bags had the new ITS Season 9 winter model, the Cube Jaeger.
No way.
Yeah. And a little bag of...
Wait, you have one of those?
Yeah, I do.
Where's it at?
Yeah, I'm not telling you. And we...
I'm going to go find it.
And there's a little baggie.
I'm going to go find it.
There was a little baggie that had a pin for each of the Aristea characters. So,
Gotta be kidding me.
Sweet ass pins. Then we got a big bag chock full of pins and patches and things. And so we got all the Wotan patches. And I think there's a pin for every faction. It's crazy.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then I had a nice little handwritten note from Coney saying, hey, thanks for your help and good to work with you and all that good stuff. So it was really super nice and really thoughtful, and it was cool. And yeah, so that was Thursday night. Friday night, dinner with Will and his family and friends. Saturday, I ate with the Arizona crew.
Nice.
Once I was done, went back to the room and freshened up and changed and got my traveling cup of coffee. It wasn't coffee. And went back into the hall and watched the end of the Invitational. And then watched the end of the team tournament.
Who won the Invitational this year?
Well, I'm going to go over all the ITS winners. But yeah, watched the end of the tournaments. Watched Team Arizona face off against Team Connecticut. I'm assuming Team Connecticut, but Plebeian and his partner versus Myomer and Willett for the top table. And so I got to see the end of that game and chat with Lacey while that was going on, Aaron's wife, because she is a sweetheart and she's always great to talk to.
Nice.
And I was wearing so funny thing about that, I was wearing my MCRN shirt from The Expanse.
Oh, nice.
And she's like, oh my God, Aaron, it's not the same shirt, but he's got an MCRN shirt that he's wearing tomorrow. I was like, well, glad I didn't wear it today. That'd be awkward. And then, saw Plebeian the next day, and he was wearing a completely different MCRN shirt. But funny. Dude in the elevator was pointing at my chest going, oh, I just can't place that logo. It's like, do you watch The Expanse? It's the Martian Congressional Republic Navy. Oh, of course. Anyway, so on Saturday, that guy, what's his name? Bostria.
Yeah.
Carlos. So O's in Spanish, funny thing, are long, like O's.
Oh, so like he's Carlos.
Bostria.
Bullshit.
Not,
Carlos.
not Bostria.
Bullshit.
So many Bastrias this weekend. Hey, Bostria. Bostria. So he did a seminar. I was not attending. I was demoing my fat butt off. But he starts the seminar, right? And he does the get the crowd pumped thing. He's like, how many piano players are in the house? And I'm sure you probably all watched the video. But and all the piano players cheer, and he's like, what about the Nomad scum? And all the Nomad players cheer, right? And he goes through all the factions, and then there's like this pause. And he had never mentioned one faction. But who's sitting right there in front of the microphone is our boy Myomer.
Oh, nice.
And so in the middle of this silence, after all the factions were named and everybody did all their cheering, Lewis, in a voice that only he can do, says, Haq Islam is also excited to be here. And the crowd went wild. Totally deadpan.
So good.
Totally deadpan because
Haq Islam is
Bostria totally forgot Haq.
That's funny.
In his intros. And then in the dead silence, our dear Lewis.
I could hear him. Haq Islam is also excited to be here.
And then, yeah, so...
That's awesome.
Started out talking about Aristea, and he shows the napkin from last year's GenCon. He's like, it was all lies. I lied to you. We had already been working on this for a year. Right? And you'll notice on the napkin, they kind of look like chibi characters, because that was the original concept. And so they made one chibi out of Mushashi.
I'm glad they botched that.
And so that's why he was available as a limited release, because they already had the design. Let's make a bunch and see if people like them. But they chose a more realistic direction for the final game.
Very smart idea.
And they're going to be supporting Aristea. It's not going to be like one box set and then done. They are doing, for the first year, they are releasing an expansion to Aristea every quarter.
Dang.
So, it'll be the 8 characters to start with, but then you'll have 12 to choose from, and then you'll have 16 to choose from. So and then after the first year, it'll slow down, but they're definitely going to continue supporting the game. There's going to be organized play for it, just like ITS. There's going to be the
Holy goodness.
Aristea Global League with prize support and online rankings and all that good stuff that they do for ITS. They're also going to apply to Aristea. Then he talked about the big box sets. The ones that you are not eligible to win on Patreon when we say you want a box set.
Yeah, exactly right.
But those larger size ones, there's the battle packs, and that's like Operation Ice Storm, Operation Red Veil, Operation in the Future. And he said those are the best-selling products in Corvus Belli's history. Those
makes sense.
So they're probably going to do other 2-player starters with, to finish off the factions, right? Down the road, maybe at some time.
It makes sense because it's easy. 2 people can split it. You get the terrain.
And it's a great value.
Extremely great value.
Then there are the 300-point packs, which are like the Onyx and the Toha and the new Steel Phalanx one, where you get 300 points in a box set, and they're only going to have 2 of those available at a time. So as a new one comes out, like Steel Phalanx is about to come out, the first 300 battle pack, or the first 300 point pack, will go away.
That was Onyx, right?
So I think so.
I'm pretty sure.
That's why I just said the first one, because I couldn't remember.
I think Onyx and then Toha came out.
So
Onyx is
if you ever, since there's such a great price for those 300 points, if you see one that you're interested in or that you like what's in the contents or whatever, there's such a great deal. Get it while it's out, because when they come out with the next one, the first one's, they're only going to have 2 available at the same time. Because otherwise, if they did all the factions and all the sectorials, they're going to have like 39
it's ridiculous
300-point packs at any given time, and it's too much. Your local store can't carry that, and you can't keep up with that as a collector, and they can't keep up with it in their warehouse. So 2 at a time. So as the new ones come out, the old ones will disappear. So jump on them right away because they are great deals. And then there's the army packs. Same size box as the battle packs and the 300-point packs, but the army packs are like the US Ariadne box, where they use it to unlock a brand new sectorial for Infinity of the game. So it's a way to introduce new armies. This is what's super exciting about it. They can introduce new armies without needing a whole new rule book, right? Used to be like, we'd wait 4 years, we'd get a new rule book, and Steel Phalanx, oh my God, whole new army.
Yeah.
We'd wait 4 years, or 2 years, whatever it was, get a new rule book, and Toha, brand new army. But with the army pack, they can introduce an entirely new sectorial, like, for example, Varuna, or Tunguska, or the Invincible Army, without having to, fully complete a rulebook, which takes time and effort to get right. They can release new armies that way. So
It's way smarter though, because everything's
keep your eye
downloadable.
out. They're going to take that US Ariadne model and use it because it'll come with a booklet that has the units, and they're going to use that to deliver new armies so that you don't have to wait 2-3 years for the next book to come out to keep things fresh and moving and new.
That's extremely smart because, people want something new. They have it. Everything's downloadable. Like they've kind of paved the way of the new tabletop gaming. Like, we have this digital age. We can update stuff fairly quickly. So why wait for books for something as simple as a profile where you can download it and they're like, our rules are free online, and you know what I mean? So I absolutely freaking love this idea that we can have a new sectorial dropped like a mic. Just boom, guess what?
If they're going
There's
to
your
take
French, you know what I mean? I love it.
They're
Absolutely
going to take
love it.
so long to do the books to make sure that they're, up to their standard and everything's correct and everything meets Gutierrez's approval.
Take your time on the story, but don't
Then
skimp on the what's going to
this is a
sell
way
it.
this is a way to keep the excitement up until
Oh,
that
yeah.
release, so that it keeps the game fresh, keeps it new, and keeps it evolving.
Keeps the
Instead of just
the universe evolving as well.
Instead of just well, here's new models for things that you already know about that were missing models.
Yeah.
I think it's really important to keep that excitement and that hype going. So
It's an important step in evolution on Corvus's part.
then they got in the concept art, which is the meat of the show, the exciting stuff. That's what everybody, sits through the boring intro for. And so starts with Pano, right? And the new military order stuff is all being painted in the Hospitaller scheme. We saw it with the Order Sergeant's box. Because they're going to focus on the Order of the Hospital, and a box set will be coming for, probably a 4-man or at least 3 plus Tinbot, who knows. But if they even have one. I don't think they have an option. But probably a 4-man Hospitaller box set, right? And they also showed a render for a new Joan of Arc, a general release.
So good.
So you got the special, if you pre-ordered On Hell's Paint Book, Volume 1, you got Joan of Arc. So they're coming out with finally, the general release
right?
Joan of Arc. But he said by the end of 2017, early 2018, you will have the new Hospitaller Knights, the new Joan of Arc, the new Gabriel Deferson, so that you can form the Military Order's Death Star, his words. You can form the Death Star with all new N3 standard models. So that's pretty cool. Because I think we knew about Joan and the Hospital Knights. Not sure we were certain that there was going to be a new Deferson.
No, I didn't know there was going to be a new Deferson.
So there's guys that talked in the booth that said they converted their Deferson out of a Father Knight, kind of like I did.
Yeah.
Thank you for hastening the release of a new...
All right.
Because we talked about that. So
Because he looks so puny.
You guys who I talked to, you know who you are. Thank you.
So good.
Huge ovation for the Blackjacks dossier.
I am one of the guys. Totally stoked for this.
He did it step by step like they do, where they start with the basic frame, and then add armor and equipment, add another layer of armor and equipment, and so on until you get to the final dossier. And the dossier got a huge ovation. Then they showed off the model, but it's not painted yet, so it's bare metal, which is going to affect your perception of it. It is bigger than an Azrael, bigger than the Yan Huo. So even though it's the same silhouette, it's a much chunkier, larger version, much like the way those tractor mules are kind of bigger and chunkier than their delicate little remote counterparts from other factions. So, can't wait to see it painted up by Angel. It looks like he's starting on it this week.
Really?
And, it was on his desk. He's like, it has arrived. So, can't wait to see him put his paint on it. I do like the dossier much more than I like the bare metal model. But I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that it's a bare metal.
Yeah. I honestly...
Seems like different proportions and weird angles. So that's why I'm going to hold off on, until I see the painted version, because Angel will sex that up real good.
Yeah, so for me, but I am an Ariadne kind of freak, so I lost my mind. I was like, this is what I wanted. It's more high-tech than what I thought. I was really hoping that they went from the Edge of Tomorrow, like battle suit, which they did.
Kind of has elements of that.
Yeah, so here's what it looked like to me when it mashed up. Edge of Tomorrow plus Ripley from Aliens just had a baby, and that's a blackjack. Because then you have the roll cage, like the Aliens, like the big mech. But then it's like the Edge of Tomorrow guy where his hands are still in it, and it's not extended like a power suit. I love it. I absolutely love it. I think it's amazing. When I saw that they had the sniper version and it's on his shoulder with his hand kind of controlling it, in my mind, he's got a HUD on his visor. So, like...
Ain't no Ariana got no HUD.
Dude, we have HUDs now. Like, this is 100 years in the future. Like, he could have a HUD. Like, I
like how you subtracted the 75 that Ariadne was lost.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's 100 years from now. So it's like, when they got lost, like if we had space travel, what he's doing is as he's moving that gun, like that scope is in his visor. You know what I mean? To me, that's awesome because it's futuristic enough from where we're at. But yeah, it's not going to be Pano yet. But yeah, Blackjack. I want to smoke an Azrael with it just because he can. And then he's got a knife. So now I want to kill somebody in close combat with that thing just so I can.
Hashtag Hip's a fan.
Totally a fan. I love it. Absolutely love it.
They showed off the new, and in fact, on MayaCast, we got to show it off as well, the new Hassassin Bahram starter. And the thing that got the biggest reaction from that starter was the second pose, the newest pose of the Hassassin IR.
Okay, yeah.
He's leaning up against that right.
Yeah.
Super badass.
It is super badass.
But what they really went bananas for in that room was when they showed off the brand new Salamandra.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man.
So the old Salamandra, has a bit of a Big Hero 6 problem. You know, he's a little overweight. He's a little rounded and smooth with very little detail. A lot of people like it. You know, it's a classic Infinity sculpt. People will always hold a place in their hearts for it.
Not when you look at this. No, I have no place in my heart for it when I look at this.
Yeah, so...
Not at all.
And I didn't say you. I said some people.
Who you calling some people, Tom?
People went bananas for the Salamandra. The gun is enormous. I'll play Nomads for that model.
I agree.
It's awesome.
You know what? We had a brief conversation over this at lunch yesterday, actually. Was it yesterday or the day before? Day before yesterday. And I agreed when you said, might be the best model that they have released in a while. Like, just as sheer effect. Like, if you walk by it and look.
I don't know. Because we haven't seen the painted version yet.
Well, true, but...
I've only seen some renders, concept art.
That is a faction starter. You walk by the wall and you see that, you're like, how can I play that model?
Yeah, exactly.
like, how can I play that model? That's a 10 on a Schreiber 5.
And then they showed the Staldron, who's a little Combined Army Crabbot guy. Mm-hmm. And it could have been the microphones, whatever. It's almost like the room didn't know, because Carlos is like, the question is, where does he come from? Like, the Crabbot comes out of the Squallow, or right? But where does the Staldron come from? And, like, nobody shouted out, oh, my God, it's the Navatar. Nobody, like, everybody's just, like, sort of quiet and waiting and hemming and hawing. Mm-hmm. And then, boom, he drops the Avatar render on everybody for the completely new, redesigned Avatar, which is terrifying and large and scary and mean, and is in line with the Unidrons, Overdrons, Zeodrons.
Yes.
Looks nothing like the old design at all. They completely redesigned it. I kind of thought that because the Zeodrons and the Overdron are tags, but the Avatar is an aspect of the EI. Mm-hmm. I thought it would keep some of those design concepts from the aspects.
Okay.
That the Avatar shares with, like, the Carontid or the Strategos guy, Adron.
Skivoros.
That guy.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, they all had that, but the sculpting ability, so what they're doing now when they made those, in my opinion, this is my opinion, wasn't where it needs to be. So, like, what they were trying to portray in those are what they've been portraying in, like, the Unidrons and all these drons with the legs. Because look at the original Avatar's legs. Like, he's got like, the concept was there, but it was like the technology wasn't up to their imagination yet. So
I don't know if I agree with that.
Well, he has the same kind of legs, like the back.
I
and
feel like
blah,
it's a
blah,
completely
blah.
different design direction.
Could be, but I mean, maybe this is their new, like, this is what it should have been all along. Because, like, this whole, like, drawn thing is like the new combined aesthetic, which I like a lot more. I think it looks a lot more imposing and scary as opposed to the old ones. So, I mean, looking at
Just got to be careful, right? Because, like, they've got the big Overdron tag. Mm-hmm. Then they have the little Zeodron tags, but now they have to make a Carontid, and because everything's starting to look the same. Like, now the Carontid is going to be like the little brother to the Zeodrons, who are the little brother to the Overdron, who's the little brother to the Avatar. Mm-hmm. And so everything's kind of like, yes, the digital sculpting allows them to do things faster and more detail and the whole thing, but you want everything to sort of match within a certain style, but you don't want everything to look identical, US Ariadna.
So here we go. This is why there's two different views, because playing US Ariadna, I can tell the subtle differences, and I'm so excited because that's my faction, but if you don't play it, you're like, well, what the hell is that? They all look the same
from 4 feet away across.
Yeah, exactly.
So 4 feet across horizontally and 2 feet up. They all look exactly the same, except for Werewolf Dude and Biker Chick.
To an untrained eye, Tom. But I agree with you. I agree with you on that point.
Minuteman looks like a grunt, looks like a marauder, and now I'm afraid that a Unidron, except for the size, Unidron looks like a Zeodron, looks like an Overdron, looks like an Avatar, looks like
Unidron won't look like a
Carontid, looks like a Skiavoros, looks like a...
This looks different, though. Like, he's got a tail, he's beefier, he's wider, there's a lot more stuff going on.
Sure.
I can see where you're going on your point, though.
I'm just saying, I'm nervous for them and that they keep them distinct enough. Mm-hmm. And I'm surprised that the aspect looks so much like the tags, who are not aspects of the EI, where the Avatar is the Avatar of the EI, and he's an aspect like the Carontid, like the Anathematic.
But if the aspect is a god and he creates everything in his image, then everything will look similar, correct?
It's not great for gameplay or for interest. But no, the Avatar is great. It's terrifying. It's big.
I love it. I think it's amazing. It's way better than Come At Me, Bro. I like it better than the Come At Me, Bro. Do you like the original better?
Well, not as far as level of detail and sculpting skill, no, but I think it had interesting design features that could have been carried over and updated rather than a complete overhaul to make it match the existing tags. But whatever.
We'll see once it's done and on
It'll look very coherent, I'm sure, and it's going to look amazing. Definitely not saying I don't like it because it's awesome. Just don't everything look exactly the same. Want everything to have its own personality.
I like your point of view because I get so happy with that, and then I never take in consideration what the other side of the table looks like sometimes. It's like for me, I look at US Ariadne and I can tell the difference, but I play them and don't ever take in account somebody who's never seen them before. And they're like, I have no idea. And then you paint them all the same. I have no idea what's coming at me.
Yep.
So that is something that you have to take in consideration. I love combined, play combined. If I see that, I'm like, oh, it's totally different, blah, blah, blah. But if somebody, especially new, is across the table from that, and they're all painted very similar, which I like to do, they're like, I can't tell the difference. Like the guns are in different places. So
it's a problem with proxies and conversions too. Yeah. Like you never want to tell somebody they can't be creative and model something the way they want to, but when somebody converts everything to be something else, that is super hard for your opponent.
Yeah.
Like now, if you play the same guy all the time, he's eventually going to learn that that hard case that doesn't have the cowboy hat, but instead has this helmeted head you put on that you got from Puppets War, but he still has a bow. That's actually your ninja with tactical bow, because you're doing a themed army and everything's converted, right? And you're doing the arrow. It's a JSA army, but you're doing all characters from the arrow. But okay, so that's a hard case. No, it's not a hard case. It's based on a hard case, but it's actually a ninja. Like it's.
We'll go to your favorite in my army. My 112 doctor that's converted out of the special edition. You're like, no, that's a grunt paramedic. No, that's my 112 doctor.
That's exactly the problem. Like, no, but the fire axe raincoat guy doesn't fit with my aesthetic.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
That one just blends in, looks exactly like every other model.
Doesn't help that she's not fully painted yet.
Super hard to.
Yeah.
Well, she's gonna look the same anyway because you're doing the same color scheme for everybody.
She'll have different patches, man.
Oh yeah, she's gonna have a tiny little red cross on her one shoulder that I'm not gonna see from across the table. You're not going to see it from across the table. That's my whole point. And cool. Do conversions because they're awesome, and have cool, awesome armies like Manlapis's Guardians of the Galaxy Aleph stuff, right? But even though it's painted in a wood grain, you still know that Magroot is a Marut because it's a Marut. It's just painted in wood grain, right? But when they all look alike, or when they're all not the right model because you wanted to be thematic and create your own stuff, like you go to a tournament where you've got dudes from 8 different states, and you've got your cool army converted from like, all right, I'll use Will Thompson as an example. He's been converting a connoissement of regulars.
Oh, I love those.
Using like different helmets and stuff.
It's his aliens army.
But he's not.
It's Colonial Marines.
But he's using grunts as regulars.
It's
or
mixed.
Something.
Yeah, it's mixed. I love it. See, I love it.
No, right. It's totally awesome.
I love it.
Except when you're across the table and you're trying to figure out what the hell those models are because you're trying to do your strategy and you don't want to walk within 8 inches of a mutt out of line of fire because it wasn't a mutt model. It was a dude. It was a thing the dude converted because it fit his theme and looked cool. And then you're like, oh, that's a mutt? Well, then I never would have walked here. Fucking use the right model. God damn it.
That is difficult.
Or like Nathan is using. So he's got Unidrons, but he doesn't have any Icadron bat rods.
Oh, that's
so he's using
different,
he's using Unidrons with a different gun.
Yeah, that's different
to represent the Icadrons. It's not different because it's exactly US Ariadne. The Icadrons with the longer guns, the Unidrons with the longer guns are his Icadrons, and all the rest of the Unidrons with the shorter guns, the carbines, those are his actual Unidrons. But they all look like Unidrons. But he's like, no, those are the ones.
I'll give you the looks like.
Right, and that's the exact same problem with US Ariadne, where I'm like, okay, so that's a grunt with flamethrower? No, that's a Marauder. Well, what the hell? they're all, like you said, they're all painted the same way, and from 4 feet away, they all look the same. Whereas I think the old style, where everything had its own personality, I could tell the difference right away between an anathematic and a carotid. And I'm worried that if they're going and like keep with this aesthetic where everything looks the same, those two being the same silhouette are going to be super similar. And then all the Unidrons look alike, and then all right. The biggest offender being US Ariadne, where across the table I literally can't tell what is what, and that negatively impacts your tactical decisions, and that's a negative play experience that nobody wants. So yeah, conversions are cool, conversions are awesome, but they have to be obvious to an opponent who doesn't know you and doesn't play your conversions every week. They've got to be obvious.
So if it's a new player, I will be completely reminding. But I mean, I could see on this. I mean,
okay. So let's put the onus on myself, right? You've got this awesome converted, well painted army. So before every order I spend, I need to ask you every time. So is that a grunt, a marauder, or a maverick, or no? It's a hard case.
Well, I mean that's
it's my 112. Like, oh my God, F you.
That's the important of it at the beginning of the game to be like go through. Hey, here's what everything is.
Will it using Morat Vanguard, but they were actually what do you call it? Rhodoks.
Okay, that's confusing.
So I roll up thinking I'm targeting, and I've got the numbers in my head, right? Like good range, cover, I'm good. And then he's like, oh, but they have mimetism. It's like, no, they don't. They're Vanguard. No, they're Rhodoks. Well, and that's...
But did you establish that at the beginning of the game?
It doesn't matter. If you've got 15 models and you're like, by the way, this is a Rhodok, not a Vanguard. Sweet. Thanks for telling me. Half an hour later, when you roll up around a corner, all you're seeing is a Vanguard model, right? And you're like, so you work it all out in your head how you're going to attack it, and you're like, oh, he ain't no thing. You roll up, oh, no, it's got mimetism and a rocket launcher. You're like, no, it's a combi rifle, and he's got no mimetism, and he's a ballistic skull 11. What is this BS I just walked into? And
that's a fair point.
So it's why proxies are bad. And it's why, while an army can look uniform, they need to be distinct enough so you can tell the difference across the table.
So, can I ask you this really quick, and then we'll move on? So, if every single thing in somebody's army is WYSIWYG, everything, and then there's one model that they converted, and they're like, "Hey, this is my doctor. This is what I did. This is my doctor." It has a shotgun because that's what it's armed with, and she's got a bandana. She's way away from everybody else. That's my doctor, but everybody else is exactly the model it's supposed to be. Like,
Kip, when you're 4 feet away from a 28 millimeter model, can you tell the difference between a combi rifle and a shotgun? Like if they're holding it along their leg, for example.
If you walk over, you're like, okay,
can you tell if a model has a bandana or if it's just hair or if it's a helmet? From 4 feet away,
it's the only one on the table that looks that way. That's what I'm saying. Like, I can see if somebody's using like 5 Vanguard, and they're like, "Oh yeah, these are Rhodoks," or I'm using 5 Unidrons as Icadrons. That's confusing as shiza. Sorry to all our German listeners.
Oh, you don't need to apologize. I'm pretty sure you don't say it right.
Yeah, I probably don't. But if there's only one.
So Aristea is going to have organized play.
All right, let's go.
It's going to release on November 20th with the original 8 Aristos.
Aristos. Is that what they're called?
Aristos.
That's amazing. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, and then so that comes out November 20th, and then in January they're going to launch the Global League or Global Tournament System, whatever they're calling it.
2018?
Yeah. In January for Aristea. Okay. So it's going to have organized play just like Infinity does, but it's going to be for the Aristea board game. So the tournament system for it, the Global League, whatever they're calling it, is going to open with your 8 Aristos. But then come February-ish, right? Soldiers of Fortune come out.
Okay.
And that's the first expansion. It's already designed. Everything's done. It's on its way. It's going to production, all that good stuff. So, get the game November, learn how to play it in December. The competitive scene starts in January.
Cool.
And then in February, they already shake up the meta by adding 4 new Aristos, which, when you think about it's not just 4 new models. It's 4 new models times the 8 models that already exist because of all the different combos.
I was just going to say the combos are going to be the thing.
Then in April or May, second expansion, Smoke and Mirrors. So now we're up to 16 Aristos.
Aristo Bros, that's our name. That's Arizona T's name. The Aristo Bros.
Welcome to Aristocast.
There you go.
Not the Aristocats.
Aristocats.
Which is an old Disney movie.
Oh, man.
We are Siamese, if you please.
That was Lady and the Tramp.
That was Lady and Tramp?
Yes, it was.
Not Aristocats?
No.
See,
are Siamese.
that's how old it is.
Don't, please. But don't. Aristocats was like the guy that did Baloo's voice. He's like, man, your eyes are like sapphires.
You are a movie savant.
I am especially Disney movies.
So Smoke and Mirrors in April or May is the second expansion up to 16 Aristos. Then the third expansion will come out at GenCon, where they will have Aristea tournaments in addition to the Infinity tournaments, and then you're going to be up to 20 Aristos.
Damn,
and
and
it's four Aristos per team.
I love that they're Aristos.
So all the combinations. All the combinations when you're up to 20, and then by the end of the year,
gracious, you're right.
They'll have the fourth expansion, so you'll have
24.
Right. So by the time 1 year after its release, you're going to have 24 Aristos to mix and match and pick your team of 4 and do drafts with and make it super interesting. So
I can't wait till the net listing goes on with those.
So it's fully supported, right? It's not like they're dropping a box and going to forget about it. They've already got a full year in advance of planning for what's coming out. It's going to be fully supported every 3 months. There was a board game that a lot of people were comparing it to Crossmaster. Is that a thing?
Crossmaster Arena.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what? It's similar, but not really. Okay, so.
But that's what we do, right? We want to find the familiar thing we can compare
similar.
something to, even if it's completely different.
It's different enough because you don't have as much.
Like we want to find the next. We want to find the next Michael Jordan.
True.
Even though nobody ever is going to be Michael Jordan, we want to find the next John Elway.
Because I played
whatever.
both. I played both, and I'll tell you what, like, that is the best comparison that you can make. But it's kind of like the LeBron Michael Jordan argument. Like, you can never compare the two because they're in a different style of play. So there are elements to Aristea that are completely different from Crossmaster.
Is it like comparing? Yep, can't think of it now. Sorry, the video game to Infinity. You know, the one where you get 2 actions.
You said it. Oh, I've never.
It's on my iPad.
Never played it.
It's not StarCraft, but that's all that's in my head right now. This is like when we did the episode with the Magariba Guard and we are trying to come up with braces. When we couldn't think of the word.
It sounds like Spec Ops too. Like I always think of Spec Ops when you guys tell me about this game. XCOM.
There you go.
And I don't even play the damn game. Yes, that's a good point. That's a very good point of comparing the two. It's different. I've played both. They're different in their own right, but I think the reason that people think that is because of the way the dice are. Because like the dice aren't standard D6 or D20s. You're rolling
symbol versus symbol.
Yeah, you're rolling symbols, and that's what Crossmaster does.
My shields cancel your stars.
Yeah, but Crossmaster plays more like a turn-based RPG, like Final Fantasy Tactics, whereas Aristea plays more like Tron the Grid. Like you guys are working in conjunction to help each other. Like your group helps each other and you're backing each other up. Like it's not, well, I'm really good at this, so I'm going to do this, and then this guy will do this. No, like you win by this guy will enhance this guy's ability due to this, and when that happens, it's very synergetic. Like you want to team people up to enhance them all as a team. Yeah, you gotta play it. It's a lot deeper than the surface makes it look.
So on this map that showed us, on this timeline,
yes.
that showed us the 4 Aristeo releases coming up in 2018, there were also these 4 big blue ends at certain points in the year.
I was very intrigued about that.
He said that these are going to be big events, like not just regular monthly releases, but something big is going to happen. And he referenced back to, remember how we talked about those army packs that can unlock a new sectorial without us having to come up with. So they're not. I don't imagine that all 4 are going to unlock sectorials, but maybe 2 of them will.
That would be amazing.
Or whatever. So there are.
I know Shizbasi and French people are like, please give us an army.
There's going to be 4 big things coming out next year, spread out throughout the year, starting with Adepticon, of course, GenCon. There's going to be one in between those 2 events, and then one at the end of the year, Christmas or whatever.
So 4 major changes next year.
Not major changes, just big release things.
That's
like I'm sure like Outrage would count as like a big release thing. That's right.
Very, very, very true.
Or the US Ariadna Army box is a big new thing, right? Or
a new sectorial would be like
a Campaign Paradiso book would be a big new thing.
Yeah.
But also can't think of another example except Outrage again, but like Outrage was a big thing, right?
Army boxes. So if they did 4 army boxes, that would be huge.
Oh, I don't think we're going to get 4 new sectorials
saying,
next year. I think it's going to be 4 different things. The one at GenCon, he said, is going to be the safest one, where it won't upset anybody. Everybody will like it. I imagine that means, and I do not know. I am just guessing. This is not fact. This is just guessing, conjecture. I'm guessing that means it may be another one of these operation boxes, a 2-player starter featuring 2 factions that they haven't done yet. Perhaps bringing some older sculpts into the new N3 standard. So I'm thinking maybe Aleph, because you can bring the Takinis up to the new standard, or the Myrmidons up to the new standard.
Myrmidons, yeah.
Right? So
that would make sense too, because they did that last year at Gen Con. Remember they had the napkin?
Right.
Like Army Box, Aleph versus Combined.
Right.
And everybody was like, ah!
Combined does have a lot of stuff that's new, like Unidrons and Umbras and whatnot. But something like Toha, where they...
Ooh, that would be cool.
A lot of their original stuff was sculpted right before they went to 3D. So maybe you can bring that starter box up to snuff and Ektros and get rid of those separate knee pad spike things that never stick on. Anyway, who knows? Yeah. But and then the other one he talked about was the one at Adepticon, because they're going to do another global campaign, and they realized, like with Flamia, the narrative basically got like one line of text, right? They said, but things happened during Wotan that they're going to weave into the fluff, and it's going to be more than one line that says, oh, I guess Wotan happened.
Good.
Right? And so the story is going to continue from Wotan on to the next campaign, and hopefully they'll address some of the freaking issues that make the campaign. But that's we're going to talk about that.
I'm going to leave it there because I have some issues.
But the cool part is that the story is going to continue from Wotan to the new thing based on the results, and the new thing that's coming out at Adepticon that's you're going to be able to buy at Adepticon, that they're going to release at Adepticon, is going to tie into that story and be a whole new thing. And we don't know what that means. But what we do know is he said that, remember when they killed Kodali? Because Kodali used to be a tiger soldier for you, Jing.
Yeah.
If you're a newer player, back in the N2 fluff.
Before Paradiso.
Yeah. Kodali used to be a tiger soldier that was a hero of Yu Jing, and then she was substiturized by the Combined Army, and now she is a really great profile in the Combined Army instead really of Yu Jing. And so he said, remember when we killed Kodali and the internet went insane? That was nothing compared to what's going to happen at Adepticon. Said you're going to love it, but you're also going to hate it.
Cool. I'm down. I'm all down for that.
And it's going to be a big shakeup and a big massive thing. It's going to tie into the campaign and the product and everything all at once at Adepticon. So I guess, what is that, March?
Yeah.
March, look for some
March,
kind of
April.
big shake up. And then something cool between ACON and GenCon. And then the GenCon one, everybody will love it. It's safe. It's not going to break the internet like the other one will. And then a fourth big cool thing by the end of the year. So I got 4 major things planned. Then along the way, you'll have your normal
Yeah. I like that schedule, though.
monthly releases.
I like that schedule. Like, that's the way it should be. Like, they should have 4 groundbreaking things throughout the year because it breaks the lull. Like, it's
not just the same thing over and over.
Yeah, like about every 3 months, like you start to get the lull. It's like, oh, okay, normal. Oh,
Yeah.
normal. Oh.
So somebody asked about the new book, or the next book, which of course is Campaign Paradiso. And yeah, it'll have new sectorial armies, but they might already have previously been unlocked using this army pack idea.
That's why I like it so much. It'll get rid of that conversation. Well, when's a new book coming out?
Right.
It doesn't matter. We have a really good rule set.
It does matter, but
for the story, but they can do it with campaigns and all this other stuff.
It's another release to look forward to, but there's more along the way so that people don't get bored and bitch.
Exactly.
Campaign Paradiso, like the costs of spec op upgrades and those command upgrades for your army, those things will change and be updated and whatnot. And everything's going to be upgraded to the N3 standard of rules and whatnot. However, the missions and the stories are going to be very similar to what we already know because it's the same story.
Yeah, it shouldn't change.
But they're just going to upgrade it to the N3 standards.
That's the frustrating thing about that. Like Paradiso, like it's a story. So you're pretty much only upgrading the missions. That's it. But it's like if you already have the book, like the story's not really going to change.
New troop profiles, new sectorial armies. Yeah. I don't know what's frustrating about any of that.
No, I'm not. I was saying it's frustrating when people say we need a new Paradiso, but it's like the story's already done. It's like all you're really waiting for is the. Like, don't get so focused on that because it's like you're just waiting
Well, I think some people may think, Spec Ops prices are broken or Spec Ops are missing things, and they're hoping maybe that'll get revised so they may be more likely inclined to do a Spec Ops tournament or less likely to pass on a Spec Ops tournament because maybe it'll be more balanced or whatever. So they're looking for the changes to that as well as, just new missions to play and... The missions from Paradiso are overly complex.
They are very complex.
So hopefully they'll be brought to the, brought
That's
in
the
line
only
with
thing
N3.
I'm waiting for that is just the updated missions. But the story's there. I don't see a problem with Spec Ops, but...
They did reveal that, except that none of it makes any, like, sense.
What's that?
Oh, well, not only am I a ace mechanical engineer that can fix a remote just by blinking at it, I also am the best field medic you've ever seen. And, well, I have mimetism. Like, and I'm a computer whiz that can hack any, like the doctor, engineer, hacker with mimetism or whatever, like, just stupid combinations of dumbness
on the Spec Ops thing,
right?
I will. And
there's no way that. There's no way to fix that. Like if you want it to make sense and be a character, there's no way to fix having things available. Like if you have engineer cannot be doctor. Well, what does the Sophatect and Doctor Worm have to say about that?
True.
And the Kumo Tail bioengineer.
That's a good point. See, to me, like I don't see things that way, so that's very good.
In fact, it makes sense for all 3 of those factions because their biology is technology. Aleph, Combined Army, Toha. So that's why they're engineers and doctors. Does it make sense for everybody else? I'm a doctor and an engineer and a hacker, and I have whip 17. And
guess what faction I brought up first?
What do you mean brought up?
Like, so I brought up Army for the Spec Ops stuff just because it's like, your example is perfect. Like, I play Ariadna. Well, I have a Whip 15 hacker who's also a doctor and an engineer as a Spec Ops Ariadna. Yeah, that's why. I brought that up exactly. And I'm 10 points.
So you have no problems with it, except that it makes stupid crap.
And I'm armor 3 because I'm a grunt. You know what I mean?
Stupid crap.
Yeah, I can. So I'm going to agree.
Now
with you on this.
look at the Muyib Spec Ops. F that guy. All right.
Oh yeah.
They did reveal that in the first Aristea expansion, Senor Massacre is going to be in it.
What?
With a cool new sculpt. Because people are asking, will all of the Aristea characters be in Infinity? No, they're two totally separate things. Aristea is a sports entertainment thing that happens in Infinity, and yes, sometimes there are military people or mercenaries that cross over, like Major Luna made my career as a sniper. Not doing that anymore for the government, but now I can do it as like a sport? Sure, cool. So there are a few, and there might be like one per expansion that crosses over, but it's not like a guaranteed thing, and they don't want to commit to it. They want it to be very separate. Infinity is war and gruesome, and Aristea is fun. And I mean...
It's interesting. It's cage fighting.
So...
Hey.
He did strongly suggest that the Tartary Army Corps, TAC, the Kazakhs, would be in 2018.
That's nice.
So that's exciting. Then I don't know who, somebody said, are the Extra ever going to come back? And he just laughed and laughed and laughed and then said no.
And I'm going to laugh and laugh and laugh.
All right, so that is it for the seminar stuff. The last thing I wanted to talk about, GenCon, I think, unless I think of more or spill anything else on the computer, are the tournament winners. I want to give shout-outs to the people that won the tournaments. And I know a lot of their names, and I'm going to screw up some other ones that I haven't really met. But the Thursday day GenCon tournament was won by Barakiel. That's Michael Delarbra from the San Francisco Bay Area. So he won the Thursday tournament, which got him a place in the Invitational. So shout out to Barakiel. The Friday tournament was won by a guy from Vegas, Ice Mantis numbers. I don't know, I don't know what the numbers are, but Ice Mantis something on ITS. His name's Chris Foster. He's from Vegas. He won the Friday tournament.
Nice.
So he got a slot in the Invitational. There was I think it was Friday night that Lewis ran a tournament, and the winner of that one was Shane Everly.
Nice.
So he volunteered in the booth, and then he won a tournament. His ITS name's Locke, Locke, and he's from Colorado. Then there was a team tournament, and that was won by Team Arizona.
Yeah, Tohak Islam.
By locals Chris Willett and Lewis Frash. That's Gnome Master and Myomer.
Of course Myomer won.
Myomer did place second on that Thursday tournament.
Oh, did he?
Yep. And I think 4th or 5th in the Friday one as well. So he was at the top of the leaderboards all weekend long. But yeah, Willett and Lewis, Myomer and Gnome Master won the team tournament. And then the Invitational was won by the guy who I think took second or third at the Rumble. And this is the name I'm going to screw up. Ruben because of the U. Ulates. Ruben won.
Ruben.
Palanikes. Ulates. I don't know. It's a bit, if his forum name was just Bob Smith, this would be much easier, but it's not. But Ruben. Yeah. Ruben won the Invitational.
You're from Scuba, Ruben?
And he's from the Bay Area as well, I believe. I think he owns like 3 game stores out there. So Ulates, I'm sorry, I'm screwing up your name. You can, if people tell you I screwed up your name, you can write in and tell us how to say it right. But Palanikes, you've seen him on the forums. Yeah, so basically, it was all West Coast, baby.
Oh, nice.
Right? Like Shane Everly, Colorado. The guys from Arizona.
Nice.
couple of guys from the Bay Area in California, and then Las Vegas.
Hey, that works.
So Colorado's as far east as you get.
Hey, let's cue Tupac right now.
I don't know what that means.
West Coast, like early 90s, the West Coast, East Coast.
Is that a hollow
battle.
projector joke?
It is. Goodness
So,
gracious.
yeah. Congratulations to all the tournament winners. And, well, I guess, if you're not in the western half of the U.S., in fact, if you're not in that last third of the west of the U.S., if you're not in that last quarter of the west of the U.S.,
We got some hard players.
why are you
out here.
even trying?
We got some hard players out here.
No, but-
they're wicked strong on this side of the country.
Oh my- it's-
yeah, I'm totally trolling Massachusetts right now.
It's like a terrible
I know,
Boston
it's that
accent.
Boston. What kind of brawl? We got Armageddons and Rumbles over here.
Oh, wow. It's like a guy who's seen a couple Scorsese movies. And he's,
Oh, dude, this is
been to Rhode Island, so he thinks he knows what
It's
Boston's
Ryland.
like.
I don't know what. I work with a bunch of people from Boston though. Like,
Hey, guess what? We're almost out of time, and you're out of beers, so let's
let's go get one.
let's fill you up and then finish it off. Ooh, that was homoerotic.
Oh, I'm out.
Okay, bumper time.
Conversation can serve no purpose anymore. Goodbye.
So yeah, we did not have time to get to emails or more than one libation or any of that stuff.
Oh, I got to more than one libation.
Well-
Which 2 of them were Devil's Ale from Santan Brewery here in Chandler, Arizona.
Which if you're coming to Arizona Armageddon,
Yes.
we will hopefully all be able to get to experience. But yeah, so we have a contest going on right now, the MayaCast MasterGlass, that's due at the end of September. And the theme is Heavy Infantry. It's a single model. So even if it's Heavy Infantry with a Servant or with a tin bot or whatever, just one model.
I expect all emails to start as capital H-I. Hi, Tom and Kip, because it's Heavy Infantry.
Yeah, no, we've got a lot of submissions already.
Yeah, I know, it's
So remember, for all of our contests, we would like one before picture because we want it new for the contest. We don't want you to share it on the internet before the contest gets posted. And up to 4 finished pictures and send it all in one email. I don't want separate emails. Can't keep track of that many emails. All in one single email. You can send it to tom@mayacast.com.
And Kip at MayaCast.com.
Heavy Infantry, paint a new one. Any Heavy Infantry you want. And we've already got a bunch. This is a very popular contest so far. The more entries we get, the more prizes we give away. So get on that. Speaking of prizes, you can win prizes by sponsoring us over at patreon.com. We don't do advertisements or commercials or have sponsors for the podcast. Instead, we rely on your generous donations. If you think our entertainment or our information is worth it, then by all means, go ahead and check out patreon.com/MayaCast and see how you can donate as little as $1 a show and get into monthly prize raffles. And thank you to all of our current Patreon supporters for your generous donations. We really appreciate it. And it's why we have swanky mics and why we might have to get a new computer.
That was scary. I'm glad we kept my reaction of the real time reaction of when I saw your hand go across that. It's because so Tom was drinking a beer from a brewery that's literally across the street. How long did it take me to walk there? 1 minute and 30 seconds,
Maybe.
Yeah, from my desk at my
Block away
office.
from work.
It was from my desk to our table was like 1 minute and 30 seconds. That's how close it is. So they have 4-packs, but they're very tall. They're like 16-ounce cans, so we're used to 12s. And I saw
16
Tom.
or 20?
They might be 20-ounce cans.
Yeah.
They're pretty tall. So I saw Tom's
Tall
can.
boys.
Oh, and I just watched the Tower of Pisa collapse.
Clipped the top.
Oh, and then the beautiful computer that we run everything off of. I literally almost fainted.
So luckily I got the Apple Care.
That's
so
true. Insurance.
If it fritzes out, I can just get a brand new one. So a little bit different outro to this week's show.
Okay.
Because if you were at the seminar or if you watched the seminar online, and I think the best place to do it is probably Beasts of War.
I'm going to have to do that.
Because they clipped out a lot of the dead space. Whenever he shows a picture on the projector, instead of just a crummy video of what's on the projector, they actually have the high-res images, so they cut to the high-res image of what's being shown to everybody in the hall. It's about an hour and a half. It's the whole seminar. If you watch it, there's a part where Bostria is talking about Aristea. It's talking about how they asked me to do the character names in case they wanted to use them for a video, because I did the voiceover for the how to play Infinity. I've got one I'm recording tomorrow for how to play Aristea, right? So they asked me to do just the character names in case they do a hype video with the character names. And the first thing I thought of when I got all the names, and this is months and months and months ago, this is eons ago. The first thing I thought of was Mortal Kombat. And so I found a karaoke track of Mortal Kombat. And so before I did my actual work, which was recording the names, I did a stupid Mortal Kombat Aristea crossover karaoke thing. And he told everyone about it at the seminar. And I'm super embarrassed. But I'm going to play it anyway.
I'm so happy you're doing this, by the way.
At the end here. So if you usually skip past the outro because you're tired of hearing Jupiter by Gustav Holst, this one's a little different, and it's awful, and I apologize.
Amazing.
But I figure if we have listeners send in voicemails with Infinity-themed karaoke, then I guess I can embarrass myself just as well. So... Thank you for listening. We'll be back next week with some sort of content, probably. Well, content would be nice, right?
Yeah.
Until next time, please make sure you get out there and support your local game stores where you can go play and create a community. And it's not all about saving 10 or 20%. It's about supporting the place that allows you to come and use their space for free and enjoy their terrain and enjoy their space and meet with your friends and party all night long playing Infinity. So get out there and pick up all those new releases from your local game store and keep them alive and active. We appreciate it. They appreciate it. And it's what keeps our hobby alive. And so without further ado, oy vey, Mortal Kombat Aristea. Excellent. Gata, Wild Bill, 8-Ball, Major Luna, Parvati, Maximus, Mushashi, Oris